This is not scrap. Hello everybody, Diego here, and welcome to my next Legacy review, and today we are reviewing Deluxe Class Prime Arcee. Now, before we get into this review, I'm going to tell you a story about the first time I got this figure. We're just going to let her chill in the back here while I tell this story. When I got this figure, I picked it up from Walmart. I got home, I opened it, and I fucking hated it. Immediately to the point where I wanted to put it back in the box and return it. I literally put it back in the box, put the receipt in the box, set it aside, and said that next time I go out, I am returning that thing. I want my money back. This figure is awful. I was completely right to assume that this figure was going to be trash. So I did put it back in the box, I set it aside, but then I started watching a few reviews online and I started hearing some people maybe talking a little bit more positively about it. There were also people talking negatively about it, but saw a couple reviews, saw a couple people show the transformation in finer detail, and decided to go grab it and take a look at it, give it another shot, try to figure out the transformation, because I could not figure it out to save my life on my own. I like to transform my figures without the instructions, and yeah, I could not figure the fucking transformation out to save my life. So I grabbed it back. I decided to mess with it again. I started to realize that maybe it's not so bad. Started messing with it a lot. And then as the weeks have passed, I'm ready to say it. I love this figure. Much like Bulkhead, Prime Arcee is a G1-ified take on Prime Arcee. They've kind of dumbed down the design and made it look a little bit more generic, a little bit more like G1. And while I would prefer much more Prime-inspired figures, because as you guys know, Prime is my favorite piece of Transformers media. I absolutely adore Transformers Prime. I would have preferred some more Prime aesthetic figures because the old ones are so difficult to get your hands on these days. But for what they've given us here with Bulkhead and with Arcee, I think they're doing a very good job, and this figure is extremely enjoyable in my opinion once you get the hang of it. When you first get it out of the packaging, you might honestly think it's the worst thing ever. You might be like, oh, the plastic feels like shit, all the pieces don't want to stay in, this torso piece sucks, these leg pieces suck, oh my god, this transformation is clashy and annoying. But once you figure this stuff out, it honestly goes up like 5 fucking stars in my opinion. It's such a good figure once you get the hang of it. So let's get into the review. Getting in close on her head sculpt, they did a pretty good job in translating the Prime aesthetic into a G1 version. Although I do think it's not absolutely perfect. The head is good. I do like the head sculpt. You have the very nicely picked out pieces right there. You have the pink for the crest right there and the little side pieces. You have your Autobot logo right there. Torso looks good, maybe a bit broader than I would like. It could have been a little bit skinnier, I think. It would have made it look a little bit more primey. Very nice silver picked out for the torso piece right there. The arms look good. You got another piece of pink right there for the arms right there. If I reversed my colors, I'd be pink. You also have a wrist swivel on this figure, which is absolutely amazing. In case you didn't know that, yes, this figure does have a wrist swivel, despite the way that this arm transforms, which we will talk about more when we get to transformation. But yeah, I love the fact we get a wrist swivel on this figure. Articulation in general is great. The ankle pivot is also very, very good. Although I will say one annoyance I do have with this figure, a minor annoyance, but an annoyance nonetheless. I don't like that you can angle her ankles that way as well. There's no stopper that's stopping you from angling it this way as well. So I don't like that. It would have felt a lot better, a lot more refined if it just had a stopper that stopped you from being able to hinge it out like that. On this way, because of that, it just feels a little bit sloppier than I would. I also will say that my tolerances on mine, I know some people have been having a little bit of shoddy tolerances with him. Mine pretty good. My torso locks in place pretty darn good, and the legs also lock in place pretty darn good. You can see here now, if I grab them from the wrong spot, they might separate before the thing. But honestly, I don't think it's that big a deal. It's not like Jazz, where it feels all floppy when it disconnects. I love that figure, but it's not like it. But it does feel a little bit floppy when that disconnects, and because of how loose it is, it doesn't really connect all that well on Jazz. It does feel a little bit unrefined on that. But in this one, this piece that's connecting it for the transformation right there, this piece actually feels very solid. So it doesn't really feel all floppy. It locks in place solidly, and if it comes out, no big deal. The tolerances are really good. You can just go plug it right back in. These wheels on the side, I'm not a fan of these. I truly am not. I really wish we could have just swiveled these to the back. It would have made it look so much better. However, if you don't mind parts forming, you can just rip the wheels off of the hinges right here. You can just get your finger in there and you can just pop the wheels off of their hinges right there. This will make it look a little bit more primey, but then you will have to then this figure will have to be a parts form former, which I am personally not into parts forming whatsoever. So if you do that, you will have a cleaner looking robot, definitely. You're also able to pull this off normally, although I've super glued that in place. So on mine it can't, but you will be able to pull this off, and then you can pull the wheel off. We all know this is the weapon, but we'll talk about that in a second. But you can pull those wheels off as well. So if you really want to have a super clean, primey Arcee, that is something you can have with this. I can't anymore because I've super glued this piece on because I love the transformation in the alt mode on this figure. So stopping it from being able to do that, bad idea in my opinion. I'll even go as far as to say the transformation in the alt mode are my favorite parts about this figure, man, really. Although I do really love the robot mode as well. Now I have to remember what side these friggin' wheels go on. I'm pretty sure, nope, that is, of course I messed it up. But they pop right back on, so there you go right there. All right, what else do we need to talk about with the robot mode? I think that's pretty much all there is to talk about with the robot mode. Let's go ahead and show off the comparisons. All right, now for comparison, we already did all the deluxes in Drag Strips review, so let's just go ahead and bring in Bulkhead here. So there you have that, although we did this comparison in Bulkhead's review, so yeah, whatever. But there you have their comparison right there. They look fantastic together. I love them. And fuck, I don't know, let's just bring in some deluxes, I guess. There you go, that should give you a good sense. I don't know what else to compare this with. Here's a core class for that as well. Yeah, there you go, comparisons, woo! And with that, let's jump into the accessories, which in my very unpopular opinion, absolutely rip with this figure. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Energon Blaze. I love these. I know people are really shitting on these. A lot of people dislike them. I honestly love these. You have two uses for these. One, you can either give them to her as arm blades to kind of a little bit more harkening back to Prime, where she had the arm blades. They don't look anything like her arm blades from Prime. They actually look more like pizza cutters, but I actually have a pizza cutter like this, so yeah. But I think it looks cool, honestly, and I mean, for a G1-ified version of this, I think this looks really cool when you have her two blades like that. You can really get her in some sick-ass poses, and she could be like friggin' slicing you with this. I really do like the way these look. You can also put them on this way if you would prefer that, although I definitely think they look better like this. Or if you want to, you can also take them both. You can invert them like this, plug them together, and this gives you a shield. And by the way, the plastic quality on this piece actually feels really good. It's not thin, breakable, clear plastic. It feels really durable and really high quality. And you can give her a shield. And I also think this is awesome, which you can combine with her other accessory, which basically you come to the back here, you pull this wheel off of the back here, and then you can plug this into her hand just like this, and it can either be like a giant pizza cutter, or it could be like a saw that you're like going like, a saw? I don't know how else to explain it. A saw is a saw. And then you can split the wheels in down the front here and kind of have like a double saw going on right there, which is pretty cool. Or if you want to, you can angle it more in, maybe bring one of these pieces up a little bit, maybe make use of that arm articulation and get it a little bit more coming out to the front right there. Or you can make a really stupid and unfunny joke about this being a waffle iron. If you know who I'm talking about, then you know. Anyway, there you have that. I really do. I honestly like this accessory. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's just because of the fact that you just pull it off of the back. It's not parts forming. You don't have to take this piece off for when you transform it. I kind of just like the fact that you have this on the back. You can pull it off. You can put it in her hand. It's a cool little and it's a cool little weapon, and you can pair it with the shield. It's cool, man. I don't know what else to tell you. I really do like that accessory. I didn't think I would like it at all, but I honestly do. I think this accessory is really fun to play with. So yeah, it can also be a drone if you wanted it to. So yeah, a lot of fun to be had with the robot mode with using the accessory. So I love it. I really do love it. But for storage, I will say you can plug the shield or the wrist things back there. On that, you have a little plug right there, so you can plug that in right there if you want to. Also, another thing you can do is you can remove this piece right here, and this is kind of making use of what Hasbro is going to be using for when they remold this into Road Rocket, which I will most likely not be picking up because I'm not into repaints and I have no attachment to Road Rocket whatsoever. I guess I'll save my final judgment for when we actually see the figure, but chances are I won't be picking that up. I think I'll be more than satisfied with just having the Prime Arcee figure, as I really do like this figure a lot. But yeah, you can plug that into a little port behind her neck here. I'll actually show it real quick. You just have a little port right there behind her neck. You can just plug this in back there, and boom, now you have this look going on. And I don't think this looks bad. I really don't think this looks bad. I actually think this looks pretty cool, and I'm sure a lot of people will probably make use of this. This does make it a parts former though, so do keep that in mind. But honestly, I really don't think that looks bad at all. I think that actually does look pretty cool. And if you want to, we can go ahead and give her wrist-mounted blades right here, or wrist-mounted pizza cutters right there, so she's ready to do a lot of damage to a pizza. But I honestly love this, man. I'm making fun of it just for fun. I really do love love these accessories and this robot mode. So there you have it. It's time for the transformation. And my goodness, this transformation is one of the most clever and inventive transformations I've ever seen. And once you figure it out, it is so much fun. You people are not ready for the glory that is this transformation. Go ahead and start by flipping the feet in like this, come to the arms, and you're going to want to pull these down. They're just on a little like hinge, like a double hinge. It lets them come down like that. Don't know how it works, but it's really cool. Come to the back here, you want to pull this out and then ring it around and pull it above her head, and just like that, just kind of vaguely like that. Come to the waist here, you're going to untab it. You can hear a click right there. It clicks in place right there. You want to untab that, rotate it around, bring it up, and at this point you want to bring the arms up like this, and then you want to untab them from the shoulder, bring them down, and you have a slot and a tab right there. You just want to bring that in. Do the same thing on this side. You can see this piece locks in, and you want to untap it and bring it down just like that, and then tab them together in the bottom like that. Come up here, you want to split the legs a little bit. You want to open that piece all the way to the back, bring that up so that it kind of fits right into place with that piece. Then you want to take these pieces on the legs here. You want to rotate these. You have a tab that's going to go into a slot right there in that leg. So you just want to get that, bring that in just like that, and then you want to take the wheel and flip it out like that. Do the same thing on the other side here. Untab that, tab that piece into right there. Flip the wheel out, and then you want to take the legs. You just want to fold them in like this, and you just kind of come under here. They'll meet in the bottom here. You want to come to the wheels. You want to roll them and make sure that you have the tabs lined up with the various peg holes right here. So just kind of spin them around and get them in place. They'll tab in very securely. It only goes in one way though, so you kind of have to do a little bit of rotating there until you find the proper thing. Get them tabbed together just like that. Then you want to fold these pieces in, and you have a little T slot and a slot right there. And the way you need to do this is you need to slot in the T slot right there, just very lightly tabs in, and then you want to fold this kind of up and just kind of work it in to that tab right there. The tabs in place super securely, okay? So you want to bring that down, get that into that T slot, and then work that into that tab just like that. Go ahead and fold down that little what's that called? Kickstand, and there you have Prime Arcee in her vehicle mode. That has got to be the single best and most brilliant fembot transformation I have ever seen. That blows Earthrise out of Arcee out of the fucking water. Oh my god, that's one of the worst transformations ever made, so that one's easy. But that absolutely obliterates fucking Airraiser, Black Arachnia, all of the other Arcees. This is such an amazing transformation, man. I love the way those legs fold over. You have those pieces that wrap around, they combine in the back here. The only part about it that's not fun to do is just getting the pegs lined up for the wheels. Still not that big a deal. I mean, it's super easy to do once you get it. I love the way these pieces tab in, and they tab in so securely. Look how freaking secure this figure is, man. It is so good. This might actually be the most secure feeling motorcycle figure I have. Way more than the Studio Series Arcee figures. Way more than Redgar, although I love Redgar, but I definitely think she feels more secure than Redgar, because Redgar has that piece towards the back that's all like moving around, and the arms like to move around as well. This piece though, it locks together. It feels amazing. You even have a little kickstand right there, which is absolutely phenomenal. You can rest it on any flat surface. Absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, like, what do I need to say about this motorcycle mode? It speaks for itself. It's fucking awesome. This is probably my favorite of the two modes of the figure. You do kind of have the hands chilling out on the back here, but I don't know. Maybe you can make use of the wrist swivels to kind of, I mean, if you really wanted to, you might be able to like, nah, that doesn't really work. I say just leave them and ignore them. It's not that big a deal. Yeah, just do that. There we go. Here you go. Oh, by the way, it's also way better than Iguana's Assault Mode as well. But yeah, so good, man. I love the Assault Mode. I love these pieces right here. I mean, it doesn't really look all that much like Prime Arcee's Alt Mode, but I mean, in fairness, I guess it's not really trying to, while simultaneously trying to. I don't know. It's a bit of a complicated one. I don't really know what they're going for there, but I love it. I love it nonetheless, man. I love it nonetheless. So cool. Love these big-ass blue headlights in the front here, the translucent. I love how these pieces all lock together. You have this little piece in the back. I wonder if you can put a blast effect on that. Oh yeah, you can. Look at that. Oh man. Oh, actually, let me try one more. Rodimus Prime's smoke effects. Oh, baby. Look at that. Might look a little better if there was some red in there as well, but honestly, dude, that looks sick, dude. How has nobody shown this off in their reviews? That is really cool looking, honestly. I love that. I might even make use of that at some point. So cool, man. I just love this motorcycle mode. I could go on and on about this motorcycle mode for days. It is wonderful. But instead, I'll just get into the comparisons. And for comparison, first off, of course, here she is with her mate, Bulkhead, so you see how they look together, and they look very nice together. I certainly hope we get some more Prime Autobots coming down. I want to get you guys enough of the good angles right there, just so you can get a really good sense of how they look together. So there you have that. And now, let's bring in some more freaking motorcycles here. We're gonna have like a little evolution of motorcycles. Come on, you want to stand up. There we go. And boom! The motorcycle evolution. There it is, although I don't want to move iguanas, so let's move them back a little bit. There we go. There we go. Boom! What if you walked by your motorcycle store and you saw this in the window? Here she is with the best Arcee toy of all time, at least at the moment, the Cyberverse Deluxe Class Arcee. And don't even at me, this is the best Arcee figure we've gotten so far. And for one final comparison, I've got a few random boys for you guys to see her scale. So there you go with some other deluxe classes. There you go. By the way, y'all want to see my new favorite thing ever? By the way, if you want to, you can store the fucking blades in the vehicle mode it looks like shit. Or you could store them down here in this piece right here. This actually doesn't look too horrible, honestly. So you could have that. But what I personally like to do, I think this is probably my personal way of storing them in vehicle mode, is I like to combine them into shield mode. And then I just like to plug them onto the back here. Like she's delivering a pizza. There you go. So final thoughts on Prime Arcee. I really do love this figure, man. I really, really do. I think this is going to be one of those figures that a lot of people are divided on, but I personally am firmly on the side that I love it. I actually think this is my favorite of the mainline fembots so far. My favorite is Cyberverse Deluxe Class Arcee. She is one of my favorite figures of all time, but Prime Arcee, probably my favorite of the mainline fembot. I think she's better than Black Arachnia, better than Air Razor, way better than Earthrise Arcee. Let's see, what other fembots even are there? I think that's like all of them. I mean, if you want to call the fucking fossilizers fembots, she's definitely better than them, although they're not bad. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is really to go over there. We were kind of reaching there anyway. So yeah, I think she's the best fembot we've gotten in quite some time, man. I really do think they did a great job with this. Would I have wanted to be a little bit more primey? Yes, I absolutely would have. But at the end of the day, this G1ification did lend to a really great figure, and I really do love this. And Hasbro, you gotta give us an Arachnid to go with this, right? We gotta get a G1 inspired Prime Arachnid as well to go with this so we can pose them beating the shit out of each other, right? We absolutely have to have that happen. So please get it on Hasbro. Yeah, I love this figure. I can't in good conscience give it an S tier because I do think the plastic quality is a little bit weak. That's one thing I forgot to talk about. I will say, compared to some other figures, like compared to like Kickback here, definitely a dip in plastic quality on this figure. There's one thing I forgot to talk about. I'm going to talk about it right now. This guy feels way heavier, way more solid than Prime Arcee. Just a little bit. I really would have preferred if Hasbro could have used some better plastic with this figure. That's like my only real genuine complaint with this figure, is just a little bit of higher plastic quality would have been good. And in some places it feels really good. Like everything with the legs here feels really good. It's just this blue plastic that feels kind of cheap feeling, honestly. Like a little, you can even see how much it's flexing right there. You can kind of see that. I don't know. That is one thing I actually forgot to talk about, but I did definitely want to bring it up before I end this video. Yeah. A little bit of weaker plastic quality. It's mainly in the legs. Honestly, mostly everything up front, on the top feels completely fine. It's just these leg pieces that feel a little bit weaker overall. But yeah, just wanted to bring that up. But like I said, I can good conscience give her an S tier because of that. I'll go ahead and give her an A tier. Not an A+, not an A-, a solid A. I think this figure really is a good one, and if you like Prime and you want a new Prime Arcee, well, this certainly is not the be-all, end-all Prime Arcee. It's a good one to get. I mean, $20 at your local Walmart right now. I really do think this is definitely worth picking up, adding to your collection. And I mean, it's Prime Arcee, like one of the best characters of the entire franchise. How could you go wrong, man? Really do love this figure, man. Over the weeks of having this figure, I found myself constantly grabbing her off the shelf, messing around with her, transformation to blast. Vehicle mode is amazing, and the robot mode is tons of posability, fun accessories, man. I really do like her. So there you go, A for Prime Arcee. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give me a like, subscribe for more Transformer reviews in the future. I also review anime figures, so keep that in mind as well. And with that being said, this is the Guillotine, signing out. Scrap.